How do you handle it when things go horribly wrong and you are on live? How do you handle it when there's sometimes issues going on in your life? How do you handle it gracefully so that you still can show up as a professional? Well, if you ever wondered how you can handle things when and if things go wrong, then this is the episode for you because I'm going to share with you some recent things that happened while I was on air live and how I handled it, and you can too. Let's get started. Hey there, I am Kim Walsh Phillips, and I'm the founder of Powerful Professionals Business Coaching. And I'm going to share with you today some strategies you can use for the next time you are live and on air and things don't quite go as planned. Now, in the last few years tells us it's that things don't always go as planned. Like we literally don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, right? I mean, we didn't know for one day to the next. Are plans happening? Are they not happening? Are we gathering? Are we not gathering? Are we getting on the plane or we're not? Like, oh. So things are always going to happen that are unplanned, especially when we go live. And it's funny because when things pivoted quite a bit in 2020, my team and I saw the opportunity to start showing people how to pivot their business from in-person to virtual. And so I started showing up more regularly on air, reaching my market, just sharing information with them. And I eventually decided to have my first virtual event where I would have a bunch of people on over the course of 3 days. And we would invite them with an invitation to join our coaching program. Now, not thinking things through, it was at the same timing that I got this lovely little creature there, my dog, Daisy. She's now 2. She's calmed down a lot. We've done a bunch of training and she's in great shape. But at the time, she wasn't. She was a crazy dog and there's wires everywhere for the virtual event. I mean, I had so much stuff hooked up, monitors and lights and all these things that I don't even use anymore. But a brand new puppy is like a chewing machine. Their teeth are coming out. So like there could be in the middle of me being on live and the light would just fall over, or be a camera and it would just, she'd take it down. This would happen. And I don't know if any of you saw people back in the day, but like at that time, people like were trying to do newscasts from their house or trying to figure it out. And then there were some people who would like just make a joke of it and go with the flow. And there would be people who would ignore it and be like super harsh with individuals and get very flustered. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather be like feeling like it's real life and we're hanging out with someone and they can have fun with the crazy things that go on in life. I feel so much more comfortable when I see people enjoy it and go with the flow. And I've always been that way. Let me just tell you, it's actually happening in the moment. So you and I are working on this together and I'm not going in opposition to you. So let me give you a couple examples of stuff that just happened in the last few days. So, and how I dealt with it and how you can too. Okay. So one example is I'm giving a live webinar. I sponsored an event. I'm allowed to make an offer. I'm in the middle of making my offer. My dog starts barking her face off. Like she's so great now. She does not bark unless if somebody's coming up to the front door, but my studio is in my basement, so we don't have that issue. She doesn't bark. And all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, she decided she wanted my lunch leftovers that I left on the kitchen counter here in the basement. And she just starts barking at them, hoping somehow they're going to dramatically fall into her mouth from the counter. It's like, what? So I could like, I keep trying to think, maybe she'll stop. Maybe she'll stop. And she's not. So keep bark, 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 bark. And so I just had to be like, listen, on my mind, I'm like, I have 2 options, right? I have 2 options. I could either ignore what's happening here, right? Or I can deal with it front end and I can absolutely tell them what's going on and fix it. So I just said, hey, my dog has gone insane. I'm going to go deal with her for like 30 seconds and I will be right back. And I did. I just like ran off camera, literally nothing on camera, nothing happening. But I told them what was going on. And so they could relate with it. They said, oh, dogs are so silly. Oh, they're so cute, yada, yada. And they all got into a dog conversation. And if I could have, and I didn't, but I could even said, if you have a dog, go ahead and share who your dog's name is in the chat. So I could have got them engaged in that time. but it already built up enough rapport that they had continued going in the chat. So that was amazing. And I think when we just are really transparent with our audience, we don't try to cover it up. We don't pretend like it's not happening, because that's just weird. Like, it's happening. We're going to comment on it. They're much more engaged with it. Then the next day, I am like getting super into coaching somebody. We were having a really great moment. It was the middle of my challenge, and I start getting a hot flash. I am a woman closing at month 50, and it just came up above me, and I was wearing like a heavy jacket, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm having a hot flash. I'm taking my jacket off. And I was just honest about it. I was just honest. I could have pretended like it wasn't happening. I was sweating though, and I was so uncomfortable that it was soon not going to be able to relate to the person I was talking to. So I was just real. Like, I was on live and I was just real. I also, when I do my Facebook lives, I will show them where I'm doing them from. So when I'm in a hotel room, I use the ironing board to position the camera at a great angle. Show my audience. I let them see behind the scenes. It's fabulous. The reality is, when you go live, it's not if there's going to be issues, it's when. There will be stuff that comes up, but your job is not to have a meltdown about it. Just know, okay, this is happening because I showed up today. Allow your audience to feel comfortable, feel relaxed, feel like you've got this. Deal with that with smile and humor, knowing they are so much more likely to come along the journey with you if you are able to keep your composure, keep your cool, and have a good time. So will they. If you want more strategies on how to go live, check out my video all about your next live. I can't